What are some clear signs that someone is failing at life? Winners fail forward. Losers don't learn from their failures and let it define them. No desire to fix bad habits or character flaws. Blaming others, not taking responsibility for circumstances. Rolling over and giving up when anything is hard. No persistence. Valuing superficial pop things like having sex, designer, having fun by drinking until you're sloppy multiple times a week. Not saving, investing money, or paying off debt. Being mean for no reason. It's not the effort but the attitude that matters. Sure signs one is failing at life. They don't take the initiative to do things, they procrastinate goals, or just another list. They are afraid of failure, they are a people pleaser, they like to leave things to chance. I'm sure there's a lot more, but this is a starter. Always the victim. Also, no work ethic. One more elementary example is test corrections. They gotta be on the test and just don't care to do the corrections given that they have the time. Why wouldn't you? Same applies to more adulty things. Lol, this was just the first thing that came to mind. A lack of desire for friends or connections. I have this. It's a sign of failure, and inescapable. People who are successful, without exception, build connections. If you don't, want, or can't, you're fucked. When they believe anyone doing worse than them is because that person is a piece of shit, and anyone doing better than them is because that person had it handed to them. Edited for clarity. When it looks like they aren't on social media. Important holiday reminder: your colleagues put their kids' magical Christmas on their credit card and they're in debt up to their eyeballs. It's all relative. You can view someone as successful but they are a failure in their own eyes, and one person can look to be a failure but are proud of what they've done and are happy. It's all relative. You can view someone as successful but they are a failure in their own eyes, and one person can look to be a failure but are proud of what they've done and are happy. Let me just add, if you are in poverty, financially struggling, you aren't failing at life. It feels like it 90% of the time, but you are doing the best in a shitty, flawed society. Either they complain about how unfair life is and blame whatever for it, or they become a shut-in and isolate themselves from people in the world. There is no middle ground. They feel it necessary to keep pointing out how great they have it. In my experience, the people who talk themselves up all the time are the ones struggling with something. Sounds awful, but I have an auntie and the whole family talks about her funeral in passing. Like, I can't imagine being such an awful person. People look forward to my funeral. House, 3 kids, wife, dog, on antidepressants, going back to school full-time while working full-time. My ex-boss. He also told me he hasn't had sex in 3 years. They blame everything on a shadowy conspiracy elite that only they're intelligent enough to see, rather than just being a bit thick and generally unemployable. While we're all just puppets, a failing person is unfortunate, but it's not their fault because they are completely innocent and the Matrix Master is a psycho. Always complaining and never taking responsibility. They characterize everything as happening to them and don't take any initiative to change their situation. Anytime anyone uses they them for a singular person, I assume they fail at life. Let me talk to my partner and I will let you know what they think. Asking for garbage bags because you can afford them, only for me to find out later that they were at the dispensary earlier that day buying weed. There's no such thing as failing in life. Maybe suicide, but literally anything else can be transformed into positive things. How far they have to look back to brag. If a 40-year-old talks about his high school life, that's a pretty good indicator. If they aren't breathing, and their heart isn't beating. These are my go-to checks to see if someone is failing at life. Haters are a real thing, but no one complaining about the haters on Facebook has a life that anyone is jealous about. Making multiple accounts on any social media platform and having conversations with yourself. Drastically changing their whole identity and personality according to who they're dating. Literally. Well, being intubated and in every life support equipment in ICU, I suppose. According to the Starter Packs subreddit, Cookie Monster paraphernalia, apparently. How can we live without failure? Failure must happen for us to learn and grow. Continuously having kids that they do not want with a partner they despise. Pointing fingers and blaming the world for their problems and shortcomings. The number you have dialed is either disconnected or no longer in service. I'd say no pulse is a clear indication they're actively failing at life. Their Facebook profile lists, School of Hard Knocks for Education. Looking through this thread and seeing if any answers apply to you. Creating a mouth to feed when you can't even take care of yourself. Thinking that our illusions of success or failure matter at all. Quick to get angry and blame others for the littlest things. Being an ass credit mod and thinking it's a legitimate job. Terminal disease. I guess that at extremely angry and aggressive while driving their car. Not owning a dog, they are literally bundles of joy. Coming up to your job on your off day to socialize.